Hey, what's up everyone? I want to take a minute to share with you a little bit about my muscle up journey. So I've done a muscle up before, quite a while ago. However, it was a bit of a swinging muscle up, not the kip muscle up, but a little bit of a swing. And so now what I want to do is really work on getting a ring muscle up and that nice slow strict muscle up, and then a strict bar muscle up as well. So I want to take you through some of that journey, and it's been a while since I did my original muscle ups. I don't have any footage of that, or I would show you, but just kind of be upfront about it. I'm not doing them that way any longer because for me, it just didn't feel ideal on my joints when I was doing it. And the person that taught me how to do it, they had me up above the bar first and then swinging down and then back up. And I wasn't sure if I had the shoulder mobility. So I've been kind of reworking all that. You know, and you always hear people talk about, people get obsessed with the highlight reel more than the actual journey, right? So I want to share with you some of the journey I've been on and walk you through kind of how I'm retraining the muscle up to now get the slow muscle up with the rings and also the bar. So, you know, you can look at the muscle up ultimately from a high level as like three different aspects. You know, you have the pull-up part, which is the FOS grip pull-up. Then you have the pull-through, and then you have the dips to the top. And also, like, in my opinion, there's a lot of different aspects to the muscle up than just three segments. You know, excuse me, got a little bit of cough too. So you might, you know, notice there's a lot of different things happening. There's probably like 5 or 6 steps to the muscle up really. But, you know, just for kind of an ease of like knowing how to break it up. So right now I'm going to talk about training that first step, that first piece of it, which is really dialing in the FOS grip and being able to do a good pull up and get that high pull so you can start to pull through, right? So what I was going to show you today is a little bit on the rings, and just kind of show you I've been training that on the rings, and maybe a little bit of bar as well. And there's 2 things that I've been really training specifically on this first part of the muscle up, which is getting the high pull, just something that I needed a lot of work on because I just didn't quite have that strength in that range of motion. And then also getting the FOS grip pull up and having that mobility within the wrist and all through the elbow and up to the shoulders, right? So quick tip I'll show you. When you start, just to even begin the muscle up, you can pull in a little bit, Steph, on the rings. And this is also how I'm training, so I'm kind of doing dual purpose training, and this is what feels best to me. There's a lot of ways you can approach this. This is how I like to stay motivated because I like to mix up my training a lot. But starting on the rings, just so you know how to grip the rings the right way, or know that you are gripping the rings the right way, the way that I like to do it is I grab a little higher and kind of start up top by the straps, and then I wrap my hands around. I get that grip all the way where I can feel my thumb. Some people like to do it like this or like this, whatever feels good to you. And then just slide down until you feel the kind of the meaty part of your hand right here into the ring, right? So when you slide down here, now you got the position, and you'll know if this feels natural or not to you. If it doesn't, I recommend kind of starting out slow, and you can just start, you can show my feet now, so just start hanging in this position where you can really be sure that you get the full fingers wrapped around, everything's comfortable, and you can just kind of hang here, right? And then you can shift to like having one foot down, no feet, and just get used to that hangout session. So that's kind of like a first progression, but I'd say before you start even trying to pull, is doing the FOS grip training, getting used to that. You can also, come here, step a little closer. You could also, before you even hang, if you're not confident, or even if you are confident, but just want to activate, because you know we talk a lot about activation is key in Yoga Athlete, and we're all about activating yourself and your energy and your mind-body connection. So one thing you can do here is, instead of hanging and trying to like hold yourself, you can actually just start to flex and pull down on the rings or the bar if you're doing the straight bar, and feel everything activate through the forearms, through the elbow, and you can just kind of straighten and then pull into this. What that's going to do is start to help all the tendons and ligaments excuse me, and muscles activate and acclimate to that position and to that time under pressure without putting a lot of load. So this is what I love about this mode, is just being able to kind of activate in this position, and it's really just simulating as if you are going to be putting a lot of pressure, a lot of weight, but it's a safer position, right? So you're here, and you can kind of even get into your arc position and just pull down with your hands by like, almost like you're flexing, like imagine you're flexing down, or like trying to do that forearm wrestling hook, but you're flexing down, and you can just see where that happens, right? And you could do that for like minutes if you wanted to. couple of minutes and just really get your arms used to that before you do your first pull-up. And that could be even a whole week or two of training, maybe a month, and just kind of splice that into your pull-up routine or whatever you're doing. But that's sort of tip number one, how to grip the rings, and then how to make sure you're really prepping the joints and the muscles and the tendons and ligaments. And there's a lot of different prehab you can do for this. So this is very high level, just overview, but this is one of the big things that's made a huge difference for me. When I first started this, I couldn't even hang from the rings in a false grip. It was too hard. It hurt every area of my body was hurting, or my elbows, my wrists. So this is a really good way to start. And then once you get comfortable hanging, then you can just pull. And so when you get in that position, you kind of arch and pull in, and you want to start to get comfortable where you can hold here, right? And you can just kind of come through and go back up and get that full extension too. Because what happens is when you get that full range of motion, as you can see, it's still kind of new for me, you're really able to train in that full range of motion, get that strength in the range of motion, which creates stability, which will make you much stronger through all the moves and make you more endured to be able to do multiple muscle-ups as you go. A lot of people skip the steps and they can only do like one or two, and then it gets kind of sloppy. So when I first started doing this, I couldn't even hold a high pull up on the rings without my elbows hurting, my shoulders were hurting, everything was just aching. That's because I was progressing too fast. So you could always grab a band, you can also grab a step stool, you can even lower the rings down and just do pulls just with your feet on the ground. I'll show you what that looks like. So there's a lot of different ways you can approach all this. You don't have to start up super high. So when you're right here, and you can just kind of pull with your knees on the ground and pull yourself up until you feel comfortable in this position. And again, activate the lats, activate the arms, the grip, everything. So you really know what you're doing. Come to that single leg, and you're just practicing that nice hold. The other thing that I want to share with you all that has made a huge difference in my pull-up training, it took me from doing probably 4 or 5 pull-ups to being able to do a good set of 10 to 12 in multiple sets, was being able to just start to do isometrics and eccentrics. You see that a lot, but I don't think they're always explained in depth enough for you to get it. So when you've got isometrics, you got eccentrics. I always recommend starting with an isometric, similar to what we were talking about. We're just holding the grip here and just kind of flexing. You can do that any place in your pull-up. So if you're here and you're really just holding, and you can hold for a period of time, say 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever that is. What that does is it creates that strength and stability in that end range. So the end range is the top of the pull, right? You can also have that same at the lower point. So say I'm just gently pulling from here, I'm gonna hold. This is an end range, it's the bottom of the pull-up, right? And you can hold that for 10 seconds to a minute. So you can play with these different ranges. You can even do mid-range. Wherever you feel like you need to strengthen the pull-up, you can hold here, here, wherever you need to. So isometrics are just holding and letting the entire body acclimate to that strength, to that range of motion, to that stability. It really helps everything just get stronger. And then you can start to put in the range of motion. The other thing is the eccentrics. Sorry, we got a loud bus coming through. The eccentrics are when you're gonna do an isometric to start, and then you could either do a slow negative or a slow positive. So the negative, you hold here, and you slowly come down, and you're just kind of activating those muscles even deeper until you feel you're through that range of motion properly. And you can kind of keep doing that. You can also do it from the bottom up. So I can start here, hanging, and then slowly pull until I'm where I want to be. Getting a little tired here. But as you can see, I'm still working through this part. So this is phase 1 of the muscle up. I trust by about a month or 2 from now, I'll be really getting that pull through. That's what I'll be doing another video on. And then eventually the dips, which you can always work on the dips separately. I could have some dip bars here and throw that in. You could even do the pull through training as well, where you just drop the rings or the bar or whatever a little lower, just work on popping that chest through. So again, practice your grip for now. Practice getting all the tendons and ligaments and the stability acclimating and adjusting to the move, practice some of the isometrics, and then as you start to feel comfortable progressing, that's when you start trying number 2, number 3, and really put it all together. It's pretty cool. You know, this game to me is really a game of millimeters. When you know, feel like you've gotten that much stronger, or maybe the pain in the joint kind of just goes away because you've gotten stronger in that area, or maybe you can feel like you have moved up like just a millimeter in your pull-up, and you can hold it that much longer, 5 seconds longer, whatever it is. That might take 2 or 3 weeks to do, but it's such a big improvement. So just don't forget about the little things, the little gains, and always just keep on going like micro movements at a time, millimeters at a time, and before you know it, you'll be able to fly to inches and sometimes feet, whatever that next move is you need. So just remember to be really in love with that journey when it comes to this type of movement, and keep focusing on the minor muscles, keep focusing on those little movements that make you stronger, and just recognize that, you know, if you can't do the full move, or you see people just busting it out on, you know, social media, that they've been training in some way for a long time, and they're not really maybe translating everything they've done to the journey. So take your time with it. I'll show you how I progress. Thanks for watching, and stay activated. Peace.